Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video, and today we are talking about faction weapons, and more specifically, what are the top 5 faction weapons you should definitely aim to try and pick up, or if you have them already, then hold on to. The faction rally comes to a close tomorrow, October 3rd, and when that happens, the winning faction will also sell their quote-unquote powerful weapon. So for Future War Cult, that's this pulse rifle, Dead Orbit, that's this scout rifle, and New Monarchy, that is this sidearm. I will be taking a more in-depth look at the winning faction's weapon tomorrow, but before that, before the faction rally comes to a close, there are more pressing matters to discuss. The weapons that you get from handing in the faction packages. As is to be expected, amongst the selection of available weapons, some of them are mediocre at best, meanwhile others are actually quite good. And as much as it pains me to say it, being a New Monarchy guy, Future War Cult are actually the faction that have, in my opinion, some of the best weapons available. But there are also some interesting offerings from the other two factions as well. So with that being said, let's take a look at what I believe to be the top 5 faction weapons. Of course, if you do enjoy this video and you do find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below and let me know what you guys think. And if there's a weapon I didn't mention that you feel deserves a place in your inventory, then let me know. Also, just before we dive into the weapons, as a quick heads up, I am currently running a giveaway for a HyperX Cloud Alpha headset. This is the headset that I use all the time, and this is your chance to win one. Simply click the link in the description box down below to enter and follow the instructions to be in with a chance to win. But anyway, enough of that, let's talk guns. In at number 5, we have the Dire Promise hand cannon from Dead Orbit. This is based on the old-fashioned hand cannon, a weapon you can obtain from EDZ rank up packages and legendary engrams, and it's actually rather good. By default, it has 11 rounds in the magazine, has an RPM of 150, and has pretty high impact, as well as being very stable and having great handling. The main fall-off for this weapon is its effective range, which can be improved somewhat with the appended mag. To begin with, this has lightweight frame, giving the weapon superb handling and allowing you to move faster when this weapon is equipped, which is always nice to have. I mean, there are quite a lot of weapons that have this, but I do always like to have one of these on me in the event I'm ever in an activity where faster movement is especially useful, thinking timed nightfalls. You then have the option between the Fast Draw HCS sight for a greater increase to handling speed and a slight increase to stability, the Steady Hand HCS for a further increase to stability at the cost of a tiny bit of handling, or you have the True Sight HCS, the more balanced offering, giving you a slight increase to range, with minor alterations in stability and handling. Personally, I like the Steady Hand sight, but that's really down to you. In addition to that, you then have a choice between either steady rounds for the greater increase to stability and slight reduction in range, or you have the aforementioned appended mag, which gives you an increase to your mag size, a minor boost to range, but comes with a sacrifice to your stability. However, given that this weapon is already pretty stable, I actually prefer this offering. This boosts the magazine size up to 13, which for a hand cannon, where every shot counts, is actually pretty nice, and the minor improvement to range is something that is always going to come in handy. But on top of that, and partly the reason I wanted the appended mag, is that you have triple tap. Rapidly landing precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine from your reserves. And given that hand cannons are pretty accurate weapons, aiming for headshots or crit shots should be a staple part of your playstyle. So being able to grab a few extra rounds whilst burning through your magazine is also going to make a difference in your overall DPS. So in summary, yes, this is a good hand cannon, and if you've got this out of one of the Dead Orbit packages, this is for sure a weapon you should hang on to and possibly consider using. I say possibly because, well, there's another hand cannon in this video. But either way, this is the Dire Promise Dead Orbit hand cannon. Next up, in at number 4, we have a scout rifle from New Monarchy, the Song of Justice 6. In truth, I toyed between putting this at number 5 and moving Dire Promise up 1, but since I'm a fan of scout rifles, that ultimately ended up influencing my decision on the matter. But this weapon is probably one of the best weapons you're going to get from New Monarchy. In truth, I feel like their weapon roster is probably one of the weakest, but this is the diamond in the rough, so to speak. First up, it has high impact frame, which means this fires more slowly, but it also deals more damage. In addition to that, the weapon is also more accurate when stationary and aiming down sights. So for DPS phases on bosses, for example, where you're using your kinetic weapon, then this is actually pretty nice for that. Think about something like standing on a damage plate during the Callous boss fight. You're stationary, you're aiming down sights, it's the sort of scenario this perk is made for. On the sights front, you have two options. You either have the SC Hollow for a great increase to range, but a slight decrease to handling speed, or you have the LD Watchdog, a long zoom that highlights enemy targets and also increases handling speed when compared to the Hollow. Second to that, you then have the choice between armor-piercing rounds, which cause extra damage to combatants' shields and over-penetrate targets, plus this gives you a slight range increase too. Alternatively, you can take the extended mag, which bumps the magazine size up from the base 12 to 15, but in doing so, your reload speed takes a noticeable hit, and you also lose a tiny bit of range. However, if magazine size is something you favour, then the final perk might actually help balance out that hit to your reload speed. This is essentially Cocoon from Destiny 1. Auto-loading holster will automatically reload the weapon when it's holstered for a short period of time. So again, for those DPS boss rotations, where you perhaps empty your magazine in one weapon, then swap to your next one, or your power weapon, situations like that would allow you to take advantage of this and would mean that the slower reload that comes as a result of the extended mag wouldn't really matter too much. However, if you want to be a little bit more agile and use this on the go, then I might lean more back into armor-piercing rounds. But either way, a strong offering on the scout rifle front from New Monarchy, with some interesting potential for static DPS scenarios. But ultimately, would it replace my Nameless Midnight? Let's be honest, probably not. So, with that out of the way, let's turn our attention to number 3 and the first offering from Future War Cult, an energy auto rifle called The Number. This is actually the same base model as Uriel's Gift, which is another popular Obalon auto rifle known for being very stable and a popular choice for PvP. By default, this weapon has 39 rounds in the magazine and an RPM of 450. The range is pretty decent, and despite what the stats say, this thing is very easy to control. Your intrinsic perk is Precision Frame, giving this weapon a more predictably vertical recoil pattern, and you then have the choice between two different sights. The Candle PS, which is a short zoom sight that increases handling speed and range, or you have the Flash HS5, a medium red dot sight that also highlights enemy targets, and this increases range even further, but you will see a slight drop in handling speed. Second to that, you then have extended mag equipped by default, hence the 39 round mag, but this does result in a slower reload speed. Alternatively, you have my personal choice, Ricochet rounds, which allows the shots to ricochet off hard surfaces and also increases your range, stability, and reload speed. But this will drop you down to 33 rounds in the mag instead. Now, sure, I don't expect to be using the actual ricochet mechanic to get many bounce kills, but I go for this simply because the increase on all the other stats. More stable, better range, and a considerably better reload speed, so all round it's a good perk choice. And then finally, you have high impact reserves, where the rounds at the end of the magazine deal more damage, so for those clutch moments where you are just trying to put in a little bit extra damage, this can actually be a pretty nice perk to have. So all up, if you like auto rifles, then this is, without a doubt, a strong choice to go for. Stable, reliable, with decent damage potential. Next up, moving on to number 2, yet another offering from Future War Cult, this time an energy scout rifle, the Pleiades Corrector. This is actually the same model as the Mananan SR4, an Obalon scout rifle, and a pretty good one at that, but the Pleiades has a default magazine size of 15, an RPM of 200, and exceptional handling stats as well as decent impact and reload speed. The intrinsic perk for this one is Lightweight Frame, as mentioned earlier, a popular perk on a lot of weapons, superb handling, and the ability to move faster with this equipped. Your sight choices include the Spark PS, a short zoom sight offering a slight increase to range and an increase to handling speed, or the Transmission MS7 long zoom offering more range but slightly less handling speed than before. In the middle column you have the choice between high caliber rounds, where the shots from this weapon knock targets back, and this also comes with a slight range increase. Alternatively, you have Flared Magwell, which gives you a noticeable increase to your reload speed, a slight increase to stability, but comes with a small range penalty. Both of these options are strong, so you can really pick based on your preferred playstyle. Then for your final perk, and this is a pretty interesting one with some great DPS potential, you have Rampage. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage, and this can stack up to 3 times. So for ripping through trash mobs and low level enemies, this can be really good. Sure, it might not be a boss focused perk unless you plan to, say, kill a ton of mobs and then shoot the boss, but again, for burning through packs of enemies, it is actually pretty nice. An example of this might be Callus's boss room, where when you're trying to manage adds in between damage phases, this could be a strong contender for dealing with some of them, or something like the bathhouse. You know, there are plenty of examples, but it's a good trash clearer. So as scout rifles go, this is definitely a strong option and something you should consider hanging on to or getting before the faction rally ends. Then finally, in at number 1, we have another hand cannon and another future warcard offering, the True Prophecy. And this is also the reason that the Dead Orbit offering sat at number 5. This weapon is incredibly good. If I had to pick just one weapon from the entire faction rally, not including the reward weapons of course, then it would be this gun. By default, it has 11 rounds in the magazine with an RPM of 110 and an incredibly high impact rating as well as pretty good range. The intrinsic perk for this is aggressive frame, high damage, high recoil, but given the way in which hand cannons are fired, this is something that you can very easily deal with. Your sight options are either the Fast Draw HCS, an agile sight which greatly increases handling speed and marginally increases stability, the True Sight HCS, which is your balanced offering, giving you slight increases to range, stability and handling speed, but when compared to the Fast Draw, that's actually a reduction in stability and handling. Or you have the Crossfire HCS if you are looking to push that range stat a little bit further, giving you an increase to range but minor decreases to stability and handling speed. Now personally, given your average engagement range, I am generally fine with the Fast Draw HCS, but again, you can pick and choose these depending on how you intend to use the weapon. In addition to that, you then have a pended mag selected by default, and again is the reason that you have a magazine size of 11, or you can go with Alloy Magazine, which will drop your mag size down to 9, but this will give you faster reloads on empty. Now hand cannons are notoriously slow to reload in Destiny 2, so this might well be something you decide to swap to. But as a hunter, I make frequent use of Marksman's Dodge, so I typically take the slightly larger mag and just work around the reload speed. And then finally, this is the fun one. You have the perk Timed Payload. Projectiles attached to enemies explode after a short delay, so essentially you fire with this weapon, and not only do you deal bullet damage on the initial impact, but those shots then blow up shortly after, dishing out additional damage on top. Again, making it great for dealing with slightly stronger adds that you might come up against, allowing you to somewhat just shoot and forget, especially if they are, say, low on health, then you can know that the payload will ultimately finish them off, so you can then turn your attention to something else. So, all up, a very, very nice hand cannon, and for sure, a weapon you should consider checking out. But that, my friends, is pretty much it. Those are my personal top 5 faction weapons, all of which can be obtained simply by handing in faction tokens to get your reward packages. There's still a day left before the faction rally is over, so there is still time to farm more tokens if you still haven't got these, but from my personal experience, weapons seem to be dropping far more frequently than gear, so I'd be willing to bet that if you've been handing in your tokens, then you've likely got a lot, if not all of these already. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Any questions, drop them down below. And thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.